Thank you, Hugh. I think, my journey is really kind of interesting because I started my career, and it really even dates back to when I was in high school. I probably had a huge interest in human behavior, just didn't know what it was and didn't know how to describe it. It was such a evolving sort of industry and science. And when I exited the military, I probably had if you look at my DNA profile, you realize probably why I chose my career. I chose it literally in split seconds because I needed to declare a major. And I thought, well, I'll be an accountant because, I'll probably always have a job. Didn't have any background really of it other than, some simple in high school, some simple accounting exercises, but I seemed to gravitate towards it. So I thought I'd pursue a career in it. Didn't really have any sort of career counseling around it. So spent, upwards of 17 years, got my public accounting background behind me, my CPA in two different states, and even opened up an accounting firm. And I actually have said that was probably the best and the worst decision of my life because I realized what I'm not great at. I work better and function better in organizations. And so I spent actually 17 years of my life in a large company, a public and a private company at the same time through the years, and ran the accounting operations group and had a great career. I gravitated towards systems type of integration. That was sort of my passion. And but it was really human behavior based. And I think through taking one of my first personality assessments, I realized just how fascinated I was to see behavior on a piece of paper and how that sort of translated into the work that I was doing. So when I ran a huge project at the company that I worked in, I realized that it was really about inspiring people at every level of the organization to do the best work. And that's really sort of how my career moved from accounting over to human behavior, was really through that 18-month project. And then I sort of went on the pursuit of my next career move, and that's about the time I met you.
But I think coming back to a point you just made a minute ago, Leon, about being an entrepreneur more than an entrepreneur, I think is very insightful. Every business needs what I call the visionary, and then they need the integrator. And
Yep.
At one level, you've played, I think, the integrator of the people for us in our business, and that's the part that I've seen be so important. Ryan's probably played a bit more the integrator with the technology part,
Yeah.
in building the technology stack, taking the ideas and in a structured way, putting it into something. But you've really looked after the people on a day in, day out basis.
Yeah.
And in my mind, made them all feel encouraged, looked after. I know you call everybody once or twice a week at least. That's something that I probably would never have done. Not that I didn't, not because I don't care, but because it's not my instinct to do it that way.
Right.
And as I was looking at your profile again this morning, the report, the Business DNA report, getting ready for the interview, something I noticed there was how group orientated you are. So I think something for us to explore is how important a team is.
Yeah.
To you.
I have a story about that, Hugh, that I learned after I started at DNA Behavior, and it relates to a book. If I can just grab this book.
Yeah.
It's called Confidence. And I was given this book at the end of a project that I ran. It was a $50 million project. And my boss at the time gave me the book, and it was really around his expectation or his perception that I was not confident. And the reason he thought that was because of my group-oriented nature, that he suspected that I wasn't confident in my decision-making, but really what it was my need to make sure that people were being inclusive in the decision, including him. But he saw that as not being confident. And it was interesting. And I didn't know how to articulate it at the time to him because I really didn't know what that was until I started with DNA behavior and just how important that is. Because the opposite of that group oriented is somebody that's very self reliant. And somebody that's very self reliant might not be as inclusive with the team or sort of think that they've got the sort of the authority to build certain things. And that can put the organization out of alignment. So I never forget that. And that's why this book sits on my bookshelf, because I think it is important to know that and be confident sort of in who you are.